Thank you.
Trump's gonna try to keep up with him this year.
Jeez.
All right, I'm trying to get down there. Hold
All right, I had this stuff pulled
And
up.
there
I
a
hope it's still
milestone
There it is.
passed here just recently?
Yes, he had 20 years.
20
Oh,
years.
yeah. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. It's went by pretty fast.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does.
on.
Well, got news for you, it just keeps picking up speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
The older you get.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, when I started here, I had no kids. And now I have one graduating high school.
Jeremy, when you started here, you barely shaved.
That's true. That's true.
Just sign that.
When he started here, we were in the old building. It
Yeah.
isn't there anymore.
No.
Are you getting okay,
It was
George?
with Mayor Ernie.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think the office was downstairs at the,
Well, yeah, it was
Sanitation.
over there, but he was hired
well,
over
I meant
there
the,
where there was nothing.
yeah, Jeff
there is a-
Knopfinger.
And see, I wonder if you
It's
click on
downstairs.
packet, if it'll all be in order. You won't have your agenda there though. And then, so that's your agenda, and then you should be able to scroll down and it should have every document. in
Yes,
order,
there you
If you wanted it that way.
If you need to look at the agenda, you can.
go. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, I do see it's about 4 o'clock, so I
you
guess
know,
we'll
man.
call this first.
Not much.
meeting of this year
Try
to
not
order.
to. People expecting.
All rise. I will pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Looks like we have full attendance today. The first item on the agenda is the oaths of office. Mayor?
First thing I want to say is thanks for serving on this very, very important board. Like we did last year, I'm going to ask all of you to stand up and raise your right hand. And when I say I state your name, state your name, and then that will protect us from doing all 6 of them. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Joe
Should we done it, Jeremy?
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and diligently
and diligently
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a member of the Redevelopment Commission
as a member of the Redevelopment Commission
for the city of Warsaw, Indiana,
for
for the city of Warsaw, Indiana,
according to law
according to law,
and to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thank
You guys would all sign that form, and
There you go.
then I'll take it upstairs, and Bill, I got you for another year. All right, yeah, good. George, like it or not, y'all take all of them. Thank you so much.
You don't use up much space when you sign here.
No.
I think I told you guys the late Charlie Smith. Rose, if you really want to get things done in the city, you need to eventually get on the redevelopment commission.
Yeah.
And, never forget. I think you asked me to replace his.
Remember, Mayor Plank said the Plan Commission was where the action was.
Do I-
Yeah, you and I.
Have you signed
Yeah.
yours?
Where is mine?
I took it.
Oh, you did? Do you not want me to sign mine?
You're not getting out of it. I signed, I forgot. There you go.
Oh, that's,
There you go. And then I'll take yours.
Every time I do that, I think of the movie Blazing Saddles.
No Animal House. I state your name. I state your name.
Same with Blazing Saddles.
Oh, they do that on there, yeah.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, item number 4 on the agenda is the election of officers. That's right, that's,
What are we electing?
President, vice president, secretary.
Can you read those current office holders? Everything's
George is
George,
the president.
Mike.
Mike is the vice, and Bill is the
Bill,
secretary.
okay. All right.
Well, I would nominate George to be the president again this year.
Second.
thank you. Any other nominations?
I move the nominations be closed. I second that. State your name.
Aye, George. Okay, well, nominations are closed. So, I guess we'll call for a vote, right? All in favor of having the same president next year? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against? All right, thank you very much.
Oh, we didn't vote for the whole slate.
No,
We just voted for the president.
Mike just nominated me.
I nominate Mike Klondike as vice president.
I'd second that.
Okay. We have a nomination and a second. Anybody?
I move the nominations be closed.
I second it.
Okay. It's been closed. So Mike has been nominated. The nominations have been closed. All in favor of Mike assuming his role as vice president of this organization signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against? All right, it's unanimous. Thank you. And next up, Secretary.
I move Bill Curl as secretary.
I'll second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Thank you. Any other nominations for secretary?
I move the nominations be closed.
Second.
All right, we have a first and second. So nominations are closed. All in favor of Bill Curl remaining as secretary for this year, redevelopment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, it's unanimous.
That's it.
All right, well, thank you. It's pretty streamlined.
Yes, thank you.
Item number 5, approval of the minutes. Last month, I looked them over, didn't see anything online.
Boy, I'm still trying to get used to this new program. Thought I had it.
Every time I think I,
I make a motion to approve.
okay, Bill's made a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Jack has seconded that. So, we have first and second. All in favor of approving the minutes in the last meeting signify by saying aye.
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 Those against? Okay, it's passed. Thank you. Time for new business.
Yeah, so we have an amendment to our tech park agreement with the state. So, some of you might have been here when we recertified in 2023. Some of you might not have been. It's taken the state that long to send back this agreement, and they've amended it. As far as I can tell, the only thing that's changed is so originally it was a 4-year recertification, then it went to 3 years. Apparently now it's back to 4 years. So that is noted in here. There's a classification of tech parks. We are classified as a certified tech park 2, which does allow us to collect more than the cap 5 million. But we have to get the cap first, and then it resets, and then we can collect additional funds up to a certain dollar amount. I think it's 150,000 per year. So that is in there as well. And then there's a annual report that would be due on the 15th of April to the IEDC. So that's just something I'll have to submit
Is
to
that
them.
new? I thought you've done that in the past. Or is that date different, maybe?
It's different date,
Okay.
and the requirements, or what they're asking for, is a little bit more involved, but yeah.
Have you ever seen anything become less involved?
No, not with them, no. The good news is, I mean, we did get recertified, although it took them a year and a half to get it to us.
So that answers my question, why this amendment is taking effect July 1st of 2023.
So
Because
we-
it took them
yeah.
over a year and a half.
Yes, so I mean,
All right.
you were still the mayor when I sent in the
I very much
recertification.
remember that.
And it's literally taken that long,
A year and a half.
yeah. Matter of fact, when we went to get this year's money, that came up by Jeff Rainey with the state asked, have you been recertified? And I said, well, we submitted our recertification back in 2023. And he called them and they did say, yeah, we need to get you your paperwork. And it's like, okay. So that's probably why we got this, was because we said, hey, you know, can we get our distribution?
So the amendments kept up with the legislative change, which we knew was going on. This CTP2, can you explain it? Or is it just based on our timeline as a certified tech park? Or I'm just curious what a level 2 CTP is. Does that mean we haven't hit our 5 million yet?
I'm assuming that that's what it means.
Okay.
And that it allows us to be eligible for additional funding.
Which is all new language. This is what they were contemplating back in '23 when we were, I mean, there was discussion that they were going to extend the increment
Yeah, because if
beyond the
you,
5 million.
yeah, if you read this code right here, it says, notwithstanding the foregoing or anything in the act to the contrary, not more than an aggregate total of $5 million in CTP revenues or other funds that may be deposited into the state CTP fund over the course of its designated, unless designated as a level 2 CTP, if such distribution in excess of 5 million. So, by being designated a level 2 CTP, you would be eligible for additional funds once you hit that $5 million cap.
But that's really the crux of the change in this amendment, is giving us legal permission to continue with
Once we,
drawing increment beyond the 5 million.
yeah, so once we hit the 5 million cap, we'll have to restart, which means that we're not going to get credit for any of the jobs and revenue we've created. So we'll restart at 0. But then any new jobs after that will allow us to collect up to another cap of, I think it was 100. Last time I checked, it was like 150,000 per year. And so as we would grow that again, so it continues to grow. If we grow that up to 150,000, then we would collect that on a yearly basis.
If I remember right, we're not yet to 4 million.
No, I think we're I think we've got like maybe 3 more. At the rate we're going right now, we have about 3 years. If we grow more, then it
Right.
could come faster, but
Okay.
not, so including this year, so 2025, 2026, 2027, we should be capped out by the end of 2027 at our current
And
Right.
then all of those entities, the increment from those entities dries up.
It starts back over at 0.
For new entities,
Yeah, new jobs, not even new entities, it would just be new
new
jobs.
jobs.
So, at the end of our 5 million cap, that wherever that dollar amount is that they're generating gets zeroed out. And
Right.
so let's say it's $500,000. We have to generate $500,001, and we'd collect the $1.
Right. Above and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I see you signed off on this.
Yes, this did go to the Board of Works, because it required their city signature as well, and so once you sign it, we'll send it back to the state.
I'd make a motion to approve the amendment to the CTP agreement as presented, as recommended by the Board of Works.
Okay. Joe's made a motion,
Second.
and Bill has seconded that. Thank you. So we have a first and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. I imagine if there's something that you didn't agree with, and we're gonna send it back down, wouldn't go over well, or it would take another year and a half.
Or longer.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth trying to amend their agreement.
After that. Well, they're thorough, I guess. All right, well.
Thanks for the explanation, too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to understand sometimes the timelines and stuff. Next up, approval of claims.
So we have a few. The first 4, the 2 NIPSCOs and 2 Indiana American Water are Marsh. So the 255.89s, the 163.49, the 399.46 are all Marsh utilities. Barnes and Thornburg, $8,894 is for the Warsaw Chemical and Applied Thermal projects. A and Z Engineering, $3,841.53 is for the County Road 300 North and 200 West project. The A and Z Engineering, $2,842.02 is for the County Road 200 North and Husky Trail Roundabout design. DLZ, $49,890 is for the Airport Park. The KDI Inc. is for Peak Med office space, $300. The Shell Building lease, $42,000 to West Hill. And then Mentor Supply Chains, a revolving loan payment of $50,000 per our economic development agreement with Mentor Media.
Are there any questions about specific claims?
Jeremy, have you had any discussion with Mentor Media? Just curious how they're doing out there. I know they were potentially looking at growth coming to this area. I'm just curious where we stand.
I think they're close to getting all of their, I don't want to say certifications, but getting where it's ready to be fully utilized.
Got it.
So I think they're expecting to see a lot more movement this year. I know they've had some preliminary conversations about additional space, so we'll see.
So they're, like a lot of the orthopedic companies, they're validating their space now, and
Yeah,
so that takes time.
yeah.
About how many square foot do they have now, that building?
They have
30,
30-some thousand.
33,000,
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
not
looked
not
like
quite
it big.
35, but almost pretty much 1/3 of the building.
Yeah,
There's about 70,000 square feet left. And they have an option for an additional, like basically mirror, so about another 30,000.
That's what I thought they had. That would really be impressive if they took and to take
and our agreement with West Hill was
2 years.
2 years, so we're on our second year.
So, yeah, this is the start of our second year, yeah.
Okay. All right,
They've had quite a few people look at it. I just think with the economy and the election, there was a lot of wait and
Holding
see,
back, yeah.
holding back, yeah. So we'll see what happens this year.
okay.
Be interesting.
I'd make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have a first and second on the claims. Approval, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Okay, that is passed. How about any other business?
We'll have some, much like last year, this will be kind of a busy year. We've got the Millworks project that we'll do a bond issue on probably in the next 2 or 3 months, if not sooner. I look for GACI to start once the weather allows them to. So that project's moving forward. We've had some preliminary conversations with the developer on Buffalo Street, trying to get that development in front of you guys probably in the next 2 or 3 months. So a lot of things to come in 2025.
To that end, does it look like we'll have a second meeting in January?
We don't have one scheduled.
I
Well,
don't,
that's right, because
I
of the
don't think
holiday.
so. I don't think we'll,
Okay.
it
Well,
wasn't my intent to do that.
I will be gone for the first meeting of February, and Jack mentioned that
I'll be here for the first, I
for the
will be
first
here
meeting.
for it.
What's the date on that meeting?
Third.
Third.
Okay, great. We're all
He's,
set then.
Jack's leaving on the 4th, so that's,
Okay.
I appreciate that. Did we go any further with the, because of your conflict in your schedule, making sure you can be here on the,
I think were you gonna talk to Bob upstairs about that, or I said something to him and I haven't heard anything. I'm not
I
su-
did talk to him now. It took me a second. I did talk to him. We didn't come to a consensus, but we felt like we could probably figure something out. So I will touch base with him again on it, about whether or not they moved theirs down an hour or what have you. But
Yeah,
yes, I did have a conversation with him about it.
okay. I thought you said you were going to, and
Yep.
I'll jump in. Just, I'll have to prioritize or try and be 2 places at once.
Yeah, I think it's not many times. I think it's like twice, or it becomes a conflict twice. So
Yeah.
that's why I told
4
him.
meetings a year.
Yeah, it seems like we should be able to figure out
Dates,
a
okay.
way to.
and the board seemed receptive
Yeah.
to, adjusting of starting our meeting at 4:30 if it means having you,
Yeah, and
because
I
you
don't-
need
I
to be
mean,
at that
I
meeting.
appreciate that, and it's certainly, that would be the only reason why to do something like that.
So yeah, I'll touch base with Bob again to see if that was pretty much our conversation, and it seemed like we could figure it out. So whether or not they move down a little bit or we move up a little bit, or maybe a combination, they move down and we move up. Whatever will get the, because I think it's only for 2 meetings. I think there was only 2 meetings in conflict, or.
Right.
So yeah, we'll get it figured out. So we might adjust the times on those 2 meetings depending on
See what they have,
what they
yeah.
have, yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Jeremy, I have a question,
Mhm.
and this goes back to the tech park in the state. And it didn't really pertain to our vote, so I didn't mention it then, but I just, educate me. You said that they have a classification for tech parks, and we are a class 2?
Yeah, or CTP2, what they call CTP2.
Okay, so I wasn't aware that there were classifications.
Well, there wasn't.
Okay,
This is
so that's new,
This newer language. I don't know when they came out with this classification.
okay.
But obvious to what they provided, there is a new tier of classification.
Are there just 2?
That would be my understanding. One that is capped at the 5 million and one that is eligible for additional revenue. I can do some more research on it, but I don't think there's a CTP 3. but-
Okay. So if we're a 2, we're stuck with the cap, and we zero out when we reach it. Do you know what a class 1 is? What the criteria for a class 1?
Class 1 wouldn't receive any revenue above the 5 million.
Period. So it's better to be a class 2.
Based on what that language says, yeah.
Okay.
My assumption is that when this whole thing started, there was no classes, like Jeremy said, and some of the tech park, there was like 20 to begin with. Some of the tech parks got out of it quick, and within 2 or 3 years, they'd hit their 5 million. I think Purdue was one of them, and there was a couple more. We've been not as fortunate to be able to hit our 5 million that quick. And a lot of those that hit it quick, they wanted to be able to reset because they were productive. And so the state, the legislature worked with IEDC to figure out a way to create a new system of them continuing to take increment. But that's my guess, that they're still the original and we're level 2 because we haven't hit our 5 million yet. I don't think it's any more than that.
It may not be. I can tell you the argument, and this goes back, goodness, 8 years, 9 years ago. I think myself and Joe went down and had a group meeting with a lot of the tech parks that were lobbying for additional funding. And the reason they were lobbying for additional funding was because part of the language within the tech park designation was you create a high-tech industrial park, or trying to create high-tech jobs, and you had some kind of incubator or innovation center that would be used for education and creation of new companies. An incubator, basically. But so there was a lot of them that created these incubators, but there was no, beyond the 5 million, there was no money for operating the incubators. So you had these tech parks that had incubators in them that had to be operated by an outside party. There was no funding. So part of the argument was we need additional ongoing yearly funds to operate those incubators that were supposed to be a part of the tech park, which is why I think the state ultimately said, yeah, we'll give some additional funding. So I'm guessing the classifications are going to be based on, if you're a tech park that build out and you have nothing, you just built some companies and there you went, there wouldn't be any reason for you to have additional funding. If you're a tech park that had an incubator or had some kind of innovation center, and then there would be that perpetual funding to operate that innovation or that incubator.
Yeah, this IC code 36.7.32.22, which is referenced in the agreement, E talks about the designation of a level 2. And I'm not going to stand up here and pretend to decipher what it means. But there is certainly, that's new language based on whether you've hit your 5 million or not. And I'm going to leave it at that. You can go back and look at it and read it.
Okay.
Jeremy, you'll probably figure it out, but there's a lot in there.
Yeah. I'll look at it. But I think that's ultimately where it's coming from, is that ongoing revenue to operate those. What's the one in Fort Wayne? It's like the Nick, but there's one in Fort Wayne. They were a big part of the lobbying group. And some of you were probably on the board. I know George and Joe, and even probably Jeff, we actually we participated in funding the lobbying group that lobbied for that additional funding. But it's been like 8 years ago. I think we gave, I don't know, 15,000 towards that lobbying effort. But it's been 8 years ago that 8 or 9, it's been a while.
Okay, thank you.
And my guess is that the new administration may come in and play with this some more.
Who knows, yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think we need to continue to show that we're doing what we set out to do, which is create jobs, create revenue. And then with that, and a lot of you've heard me, I mean, the innovation center that we're trying to develop, that's where all this funding is going to go. And to perpetually create that education system and that entrepreneurial system to create new orthopedic related jobs.
Opportunities.
Yeah.
Well, like Jeremy said, when they originally contemplated this, and I think it was Governor Daniels, there was an educational institution had to be a part of the application. And at the time, it was Ivy Tech.
Yep.
So, and then there had to be, as you suggest, the majority of these funds were, the idea was to develop accelerators, incubators, basically get involved in coming up with new products, new ideas, and building the economy that way. And I think it's been very successful. I think it's been successful for us. We just don't have the bandwidth that maybe Purdue's got. But it's-
Yeah, obviously Purdue, and keep in mind, Purdue has 4 of them?
yeah, I think so, at least 3.
Yeah, maybe 3. Purdue operates 3 of the technology parks across the state. Obviously Notre Dame has one. So a lot of, some of the bigger players like Notre Dame and Purdue, obviously they have a lot more clout than Warsaw, but I feel like we've done pretty good job since we started. We've created 400 plus jobs within the technology park, over $500,000 in revenue a year so far, and we continue to grow. I look for a new development to occur in the tech park this year that's going to even further increase that. So. Good stuff to come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? I know I speak for Mike and Bill. We appreciate you allowing us once again to make signatures and stuff like that and follow up. This is a gifted board. You know, Jack, Brad, of course, Joe. So any of us could do a lot of the jobs that are,
Thanks for your leadership, George.
well, and Whitney too, of course. But,
I think it's time to,
well, no, he can't be in office.
I can't be in office. I cannot be an officer, and I wouldn't
Make
want
a
to be an
motion.
officer.
That's why I didn't.
And I'll second that motion.
we made a motion to adjourn down here, because it's getting pretty thick down there.
Yeah. So we have a motion to adjourn.
Jackson.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for being here.
I kept it just so we could